What's going on, horror fans? It's Foos here. It's Monday, which means it's officially Scream Week. Hard to believe it's finally here, but it's finally here. Today, we're doing another look back on a previous installment in the franchise, and we're doing our take two on Scream 4. So, this one's always kind of here recently seemed like the forgotten entry of the franchise. All the attention either seems to go to the original trilogy or our recent Radio Silence era entries. This one just seems kind of lost in the shuffle in the middle there. But I've always been fond of this one and enjoyed watching it this time around. We'll say one thing off the bat, though, right out of the beginning that sticks out on the wrong side for me every time is I'm not the biggest fan of the opening of this one. I feel like the movie within a movie within a movie thing, the whole movieception sort of thing we got going on here is definitely one of the weaker openings that we get in the franchise, and still feel that way this time around. But one little thing that always jumps out on the positive side every time I watch this movie, though, is a cool little detail that we get early on in the movie, kind of after our first attacks and murders. The kids are all at school, and we get this little mass alert thing that goes out on all their phones, and everybody in the room picks up their phone, looks at it all at the same time, and reacts, except for Jill. So knowing what you know afterwards, obviously, it's kind of a cool thing to see. I just like that detail, and jumps out every time I watch this movie. But another thing that I'll point out, because it's definitely one of the bigger positives of this movie for me, as much as I give the character grief on the negative side of things, I got to be fair. When it's good, and Gail is definitely by far my favorite version of her in this movie. And there's so many things that she does well in this movie as far as interactions go with different characters. Like, I mean, she's got some great interactions with Judy, Sid's publicist, and that whole interaction is great. Uh, Between the Robbie and Charlie scene, with when she's going back and forth with them, so many great moments for Gail. I really like her character in this one, where she's at as a character and everything like that. So her motives in this one are, still kind of self-serving, but not quite to the level that we've seen in other entries. But so big fan of Gail in this one. Charlie kind of cracked me up this most recent time watching it. I don't know why it hit me so funny this time, but towards the end of the movie when we had the scene where Kirby kind of sort of comes on to him a little bit, and they're about to have some sort of moment, but it gets interrupted by Trevor, and Charlie doesn't have a great reaction to it, to say the least. He sits there and kind of just stews over it for a second, then gets up and storms off. And he storms off with such a pouting energy that I don't know why it cracked me up this last time watching it. But another thing that I'll shout out, this most recent time watching it that jumped out at me was Kirby's phone call, which is an awesome scene overall. I mean, it's one of the better scenes in this movie, I feel like. And shout out to Hayden Panettiere for what she did in that scene, as far as rattling off like 15 damn movie titles in succession, rapid fire like that. I don't know how many takes that took, but it's pretty impressive. Yeah. And then, last thing I'll point out on this recent rewatch that jumps out, because it jumps out at me every time, is the rough way that our guy Trevor goes out. I mean, if you know, you know. I mean, Jill takes a very specific shot at our guy Trevor here, and I mean, rightfully so. He did what he did, but it doesn't mean that it's not a rough watch nonetheless. Whew. Yeah. But that's all I got here on this most recent watch of Scream 4, though. Look out for Scream 5 coming up next. We're going to take a look back at that. And, before we know it, we'll be talking about Scream 7. Y'all take it easy. We'll see you on the next one.